Flosstube, it's Paula. Welcome back to my channel, Stitching in High Heels, my little corner of the internet where I talk about all things stitching and any other crafty pursuits I may get up to. It is Saturday, December 20th, and it is, let me see, it's 5:45 here in upstate New York. So it's a little darker than when I like to film normally, so the light is a little bit wonky, but I think we'll be okay. So just bear with me a little bit, if you will. I wanted to get this out because I haven't been able to film recently. I know I mentioned I was doing some traveling. I went on my annual girls trip with my best friend, and I came back with a wonderful souvenir of just a normal cold, but it lasted for a while, and had some really serious coughing going on for a bit, and that's finally resolved itself. So I am going to be sipping on some water here and there as my throat gets dry, because that does still happen, and I do apologize for the reflection of the ring light, but we do need that tonight to be able to see. So here we are. I can't believe we are 5 days away from Christmas. I've lost track, but I think tonight might be the last night of Hanukkah, or next to last night of Hanukkah. We're 6 days away from Kwanzaa, and not all that far from the beginning of 2026. So I hope this season finds you healthy and happy, finding some peace and some good crafting time. And without further ado, let's get into what I have, because I have some FFOs, I've got some finishes, I've got some starts, and I've got a whole lot of plans to talk about. So here we go. Buckle up. Could be an interesting ride. So the first FFO I have to show you, I'm going to have to show you a picture here, or maybe here, wherever it comes up. This was a start, a finish, and a fully finish, and I don't have it because it was a gift to my friend, and it is Mill Hill's Winter Cruise, one of their kits from 2025 that I finished it as an ornament. It came with a magnet to be finished as like a refrigerator magnet, but I stitched it as an ornament, finished it off, and gave it to her on our trip. So you will have seen that, like I said, either here or here, wherever I get it in. Secondly, I finished all of my FFOing. They're all Mill Hill ornaments, but this is Scotland Santa by Mill Hill, and there you are. I just used some of the leftover beads from the kit. No, I'm sorry, I used my own beads for these. I lost the leftover beads for the kit from this. But here he is, and he is finished with self-adhesive felt on the back. A little piece of fuzz there. I picked a blue. I picked up I think it's 20 sheets of assorted colors. I found it through Mama Loves You GB. If you want to know what it is, leave me a comment. I can pull it back from my Amazon history. I got it on Amazon, and it was here within a couple days. The other thing I did was I used, and you won't be able to see it, which is the idea, I backed the actual stitching with a piece of cardstock that was a similar color to the brown paper that it's stitched on. And then I also put an extra piece of Bristol paper behind that, just to stiffen it up a little bit, give it a little bit of weight. But here we go again. That is Mill Hill Scotland Santa. Pretty happy with how it came out. The only thing I'm not super fond of is that the Bristol paper that I used is white. I don't know if it comes in other colors. That's what I bought. And you can see the white sandwich between the perforated paper and the felt, but it's going to be on the tree. Nobody's really going to be looking at it, so I'm satisfied with how it came out. And my last FFO is another Mill Hill, like I said. This is Smoky Mountain Santa from the Appalachian Santa series. Oh, and I'm sorry, Scotland Santa is from the Celtic Santa series. And for him, I did use the extra beads from the kit to make the hanger, just in a really random, however I picked them up. I also put cardstock behind him that matched the color of the paper. Got that tip from, I forget if I got that tip from Mama Loves You GB or Vanna Pfeiffer. And then I used Vanna Pfeiffer's instructions. Now I know, unfortunately, she's taken all of her tutorials down, which is a huge loss to the stitching community, but it is her content, and she has her reasons. But I did find in the Punch Needle and Primitive one of the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazines, when she did her finishing features in there. She does have finishing perforated paper ornaments in there. I think it's, oh, I thought I printed it out. You know what? I don't remember which issue it is. I can look that up for you if you want me to. But so I used a piece of cardstock behind here that was the same color, and then I used 3 layers of mat board in the shape. I backed it with some scrapbook paper in just a cool design, and I put, I had some, let's see if you can see that. It's just some cording off a roll that I got at either Michael's or Hobby Lobby. It's kind of a rustic, burlappy kind of material with a gold thread through it, just to cover up the edges. And I'm really happy with how that came out. He had all these fussy little bits here, and the bobcat over here. And I really didn't want to try to cut out around him, so I used a shape. I actually enlarged the template that I got from Hands On Design for some of their ornaments, and used that same arced shape. Really like how he came out as well. He is a little bigger. I don't usually like ornaments quite that big on my tree, but he'll be big for the lower branches. So those are my FFOs. Hopefully I'm going to have a few to show you each video. I have a backlog, and I want to get a lot of those ornaments finished. But I do have some actual just finishes. And the first one is one I finished a while ago, and I don't think I ever showed it to you. It is 10 Lords of Leaping, and this is from the 12 Days of Christmas stitch along that Celebrations of Needlework did in 2022, where we got a full kit with all the finishing items and everything. So this is 10 Lords of Leaping by Annie B's Folk Art, and I used all the kit materials. I think it's a 32 count raw linen, I think was what that was stitched on. Stitched with DMC 2/2. I like how that came out. I like the colors. And the white does show up better in person than it does on the screen. But we're all used to that. It's actually, I think it's ecru. I don't even think it's white. But it does show up better in person. And then next is 4 Calling Birds from the same series. And this is by Romy's Creations. It's on 28 count white cashel linen. The thread here is a Romy's Creation thread. The 4 and the notes are in DMC. And this did have just a square, like every other stitch border around it, which I didn't feel like stitching, so I left it off. And of course you can see that I haven't ironed any of these. I'll do that when I do the finishing. This is also from the Celebrations of Needlework series, as is 8 Maids of Milking by Manny Didana. This is on a 32 count white Belfast with DMC. And I just think that's so cute. I don't think I showed this in my last video. I think it wasn't quite finished. I think it was a whip. So there's that. I do have one more left, and that I did start that. I only have one more left in the series from Celebrations of Needlework, and you'll see that in the start section. And I hope to have that finished pretty shortly. My last finish is Calling Birds, another Calling Birds, and this is by Satsuma Street. I bought the kit for this. I've been buying the kits for her 12 Days of Christmas as they come out. I did buy the goose that just came out recently. but I'm not going to show that. So here's Calling Birds. And that's all my finishes. But I did have several starts, and we'll talk about 2026 when the planning section comes up. But probably going to be having a bunch of starts to show you coming up as we go. Pardon me, I've got notes over here. So the first start is a Mill Hill Buttons and Beads kit. This is Sandy Claus, a little crab with a Santa hat on a beach with a decorated palm tree. And I started this while I was on my trip. Seemed appropriate as we were on a cruise in the Caribbean. And here's how far I got. Didn't get a whole lot done, but I did get one whole strip of blue and some of the green that started there. Kind of ghosty, but it'll show up better as the other colors get put in. So. And then my next new start is a piece that I fell in love with as soon as it was released, and I bought all the materials, and I finally decided it was time to just get it started. This is Wind Through the Olive Trees by Glendon Place. And I have all the required materials. It's being stitched on a 20 count crystal cashel in the color Pampas by Picture This Plus. And I bought the Dinky Dyes thread pack from, I think I bought it straight from Glendon Place. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's 6 colors of Dinky Dyes. One of them is exclusive to Glendon Place. It's the one that the words are in here, if you can see that. All the center is done in that. And the words say, winds through the olive trees softly did blow, round little Bethlehem long, long ago. Sheep on the hillside lay, whiter than snow. Shepherds were watching them long, long ago. Then from the happy skies, angels bent low, singing their songs of joy long, long ago. For in a manger bed, cradled we know, Christ came to Bethlehem long, long ago. And I read in some of the information about this design that this is actually from a song. I've never heard it, but it was a song that Cheryl Gradeta had heard when she was growing up. So let me see, I've got a board here. So I've started in the upper right corner, and here's where I'm at. I don't know, you probably won't see the sparkle, it doesn't usually show up. And let's see, color is not bad on the fabric. So I do have one more shade of green to put in all these leaves here. And then I'm going to do the first line of the words, and probably try to finish off the, I started in the top right of the design. So I'm probably going to, if you've stitched a Glendon Place chart, you know that she does, her charts are all in letter size pages. So I'm going to try to finish the first page before I decide not to work on this anymore. I do have some other winter or Christmas pieces that I want to get some work on before the Christmas stitching bug leaves. I'll usually stitch Christmas through, probably even through February, to be honest, excuse me. So I do have some other pieces that I want to get some work on. And let's see, my last start is the last piece from the Celebrations of Needlework 12 Days of Christmas series, and this is 2 turtle doves, and it's from Cross Stitch Antiques, and it says it's motifs from a vintage sampler. I just love the colors in this, and of course I'm using all of the kit materials. The fabric is a 38 count Fuller's Tissot, and it's 1/2 with DMC. And this is a really pretty color. I heard Katie Strachan talk about this color fabric. It's one of her favorite neutrals, and it is a really nice fabric. It's blown out here because of the lighting. It's a little darker than what it's showing up here, and it's a kind of a creamy beigey neutral. But that's where I've gotten to. I usually take my ornaments with me to 911 when I'm working, and work on it when the phones are kind of quiet. So that's where I got to with that. This time of year we tend to not get as many calls our area is busier in the summertime. So maybe I'll have that finished. I do work Monday and Tuesday. Maybe it'll even be finished before Christmas. Hopefully I'll be bringing it to you as a finish the next time I film. Those are my starts. And then I did work on 2 of my existing whips, and I'm pretty sure I didn't show you my complete progress, although I did show this in the last one. This is Sir Thomas by Glendon Place, and he is such a lovely, sparkly turkey. I love him. And I'm using all of the called for materials for him. So he's stitched on 28 count China Pearl Jobelin, 2/2. I'm using the Sullivan's floss that was used in the model. I wanted to try it. This seemed I could get the thread pack, seemed like a good place. And then there's lots of Rainbow Gallery fibers, silk lame braid, metallics. So here's where I'm at. I've got all of these feathers are all done. They're all back stitched. I had wanted to get his legs and feet in before I moved on, put him away, but I just didn't get there. But I am happy with the progress. These feathers here, they weren't, I talked about this last time, they weren't necessarily hard to stitch. I just found it very difficult to get into any sort of rhythm in stitching them, so I felt like they took me a lot longer than they should have. He generally only comes out in November, but while I'm a seasonal stitcher, I also stitch on things as they call to me, and I really enjoy stitching on him. So you may see him again before November. And then I usually have a piece that I work on during conference calls on the days that I work from home. And I've recently been working on Pretty Little Chicago by Satsuma Street. I started this when Andrew, the runner stitcher, was running the Chicago Marathon. Seemed like an appropriate time to start this, being Chicago. So I started it then, and I've been really enjoying working on it and been really hoping to get it finished. I've made some really good progress and probably could have a finish before too long on this. So here's where I'm at. We talked last time, I did talk about the fact I'm not going to fill that cloud in. I like the outline, and this is on 18 count Vintage Stormy Clouds, I think, by Zweigart. It's one of their printed fabrics. So I'm going to leave the cloud the way it is. And I did the Chicago Picasso sculpture here. I did the Navy Pier Ferris wheel, the Navy Pier ballroom here. And now I'm almost at the bottom, so I've got this that I'm working on here, and there's a couple rows below that that are water. So that'll be the bottom on this side, and then I'll work all the way across. I'm not completely at the edge over here. The Chicago Water Tower will go here. That'll be the far left side of the design. But I love working on this. I love the colors that Jody Rice uses, and you know, her charts are easy to work with, and I've really been enjoying my work on that one. So that's pretty much everything that I worked on. I do plan on doing a whip parade at the end of the year. So maybe like next weekend I'll film that and get that up for you. That'd be kind of an extra. But I do plan on participating in WIPGO. You haven't seen me talk about it recently because I kind of fell off the WIPGO wagon when I started doing the stitching for the Queen City Stitch Retreat, and kind of didn't, just kind of let it go at that point. But I do plan on doing a board for ornaments again next year, because I still have ornaments that I want to get stitched and finished up. So I am going to show you what is going to be on my board. I'm going to be inserting a bunch of pictures because most of the ornaments are in Just Cross Stitch ornament magazines, and my camera struggles for me to be able to get close enough to show you a good picture. So I took a bunch of pictures of them as I was preparing today, and I'll be inserting them again one place or the other, wherever they come up, and I'll tell you about them. So here we go. First I'm going to take a drink. So And of course, there's no guarantee what order I'm going to work on these, right? Because it all depends on how Jessie Marie calls the numbers. For those of you who don't know, I'm sorry, let me back up. WIPGO is the brainchild of Jessie Marie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. It is a bingo style game where she calls 2 numbers each month. You lay out a board. Instead of bingo across the top, it says WIPGO. But you lay out a board with 25 squares. The middle square, which is number 13, can be a free square, or you can put a design in there. I usually put a design in there. I give me a full 25 ornaments. So she'll call 2 numbers a month, and you work on whatever those numbers mean for you. You can, some people do all whips, some people do new starts, some people do mix. I'm doing all ornaments, and they will be new starts and hopefully finishes. But I've also heard people do put squares on there for other things, like having a month of no buy, cleaning up their craft room. So, as Jessie Marie will say, your board, your rules. So my ornaments are all going to, my board is going to be all ornaments, and my goal is to start them and finish them in the month that they're called. So some of my ornaments are going to be from 2003, 4, and 5. There was a store that sold ornament cuts of the fabrics called for several of the ornaments from the issues in those years. I bought a bunch of them, and I've been using my WIPGO to get through those those fabrics. I still have a few of them left. One of them, I'm not sure what I'm not going to use it this year because I can't figure out what ornament it's for. But other than that, I will be done with all of those pre-cuts of fabric. So also, I talked a little bit about it last time I filmed. I'm going to follow the lead of Pam from Just Keep Stitching for several reasons, and have a no-buy year. Now she pretty much kept herself to no-buy for charts for 4 years. I'm starting out with 1 year, but I'm going to do, I'm going to say it here, definitely no buy for charts, no buy for fabrics. I'm still debating about whether I'm going to renew my membership to the Silver Needle Circle of Friends. I'm thinking I might. They come out like every other month, and that'll kind of give me a little bit of the sense of having new things in my stash. I also have renewed my subscription to Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, which will be 4 issues. I have a digital subscription. I love that magazine, and I wanted to keep up with it. Other than that, I definitely don't need any fabric. My fabric stash is more than sufficient for the charts that I have. As a matter of fact, I canceled this afternoon. I canceled my subscription to Crown Studios, Fiber Arts, Amy's dyeing company. I canceled my subscription to her fabric of the month, and that hurt my heart because her fabrics are beautiful, and I use them, and especially when I'm stitching Mirabilias. But with us having a move coming up and looking at the volume of stuff that I have, I can't keep buying. It just doesn't make sense. So, having said that, my ornaments are definitely in the use what I have category, which is great, and I'm going to be using up those fabrics and such that I bought. I've got fabrics for all the ones that I didn't buy ornament cuts for. And I'm going to stop rambling now, and I'm going to talk about my WIPGO board. So the first one, I'm inserting a picture. The first one is Christmas Heart, and it's from the 1999 Just Cross Stitch Ornament issue, and it is by Calico Crossroads. I have pre-cuts for this from a different ornament called Holly Heart, which was the same size and shape. That was on a cream linen, and this is on raw linen, but I'm going to use that cream linen. It'll be fine. And it's the same construction, and I can't, looking forward to stitching that one. The second ornament is Snow Puppy by Cross My Heart Designs from the Just Cross Stitch 2003 issue, and I have a pre-cut for that as well. And then next up is Partridge and Pear by Satsuma Street. So I have the kit for this, you can see. So that's going to be one of my ornaments. I'll use all of the kit materials. Turtle Doves is next, also by Satsuma Street. So this is 1 and 2. I'm not sure why I stitched the Calling Birds first, the one that I just finished, but I did. So now I'm going to try to go in order. So there's those two. And then next up is the Mill Hill Nativity Trilogy ornaments. These are from 2019, oh no, 2012. So these are from 2012, and Mary and Joseph were easy to find. So here's Mary. Sorry for the glare from the ring light. There's Mary. And here's Joseph, and I'll be using the kit materials, doing them on the perforated paper. It makes finishing easy. And the Baby Jesus was one that was difficult to find. I did find it on, I think it was an Etsy shop, but I wanted the entire trilogy. So it is out there, and they haven't been discontinued. You might just have to search a little bit. I don't know if some of that is because they've switched from making perforated paper. I don't know if you've seen this. Instead of perforated paper, they're now using a PVC type material. And I don't know if they're gonna, I don't know if they're gonna switch their kits to that or not. I know when you buy the sheets, the 14 count paper can be difficult to find right now. I did pick up one package of the new material from 123 Stitch. It's not here yet. I needed a couple other things. I needed a curved beading needle, and they're the easiest place to get that from. And I was going to grab some perforated paper after I saw everybody talking about how it's going to be hard to find. And they did have the PVC stuff. They had a pretty favorable review on it. So we'll see. I'll let you know when I get it, show it to you, tell you what it looks like, tell you what it feels like, see how it goes. Back to WIPGO. Next up is I'm going to have 3 squares for the Prairie Schoolers Starry Night book, which is this. I saw this made by Michelle McGraw, showed this, and I really fell in love with these. So these are, I'll show it, bring it up a little closer. These are telling the Christmas story, and it's very cool. They're stitched in 3 colors of blue floss, blue DMC, black 310, and you can use either a Krynic or a Petite Treasure braid for the gold pieces, or use regular DMC floss, excuse me. So I'm going to use the metallic. I might throw some beads in here and there. We'll see how that goes. But I'm going to stitch 3 different ornaments from this. Not sure which 3 yet. We'll see how they go. They're all, they were stitched on 32 count, I think. Hold on, bear with me here. Try to find the information inside. 32 count Belfast, and they're all right in the area of 2 to 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. I'm not sure. I'm going to do them on a white fabric. I'm not sure what count. I may go smaller. I have a big piece of 20 count Ada, so I may go down to 20 count even with these. I'm not sure. Stay tuned. We'll find out together. And then after this, Shepherd's Bush did a series in the Just Cross Stitch ornaments from 2000 through 2007. And I wanted to do them for a long time. I think they all use pretty similar colors. They're all fairly small. They stitch up on, I think, 32 count to like 2.5 by 2.5, that kind of size. And they all have charms, which I'm not going to worry about. If it's appropriate, I'll put a bead or maybe a charm that I have or something in there. But they are from Just Cross Stitch 2000. They tell the Christmas story. So the first one is in the 2000 issue, and it says 2,000 years ago. And I'll be putting pictures in. The second one is 2001. The title is The Angels Sang. 2002 is Shepherds Watched. 2003 is While Bethlehem Slept. 2004, is In a Stable. 2005, Wise Men Came. 2006, Mary and Joseph. And 2007 is Sweet Baby. Next up is Decked Out for Christmas. This is another one that I have a pre-cut for. It's from the 2005 Just Cross Stitch Ornament issue, and it's by Vermilion Stitchery. This one is from the Just Cross Stitch 2000 ornament. I don't have pre-cut for it, but it's full coverage, as you can see. It's by Mirabilia, so that'll be easy enough to find fabric for. And this is going to be a pretty intense ornament. I certainly hope it doesn't get called the same month as like Decked Out for Christmas gets called. But it'll be fun and it'll be gorgeous. Next is Victorian Rose Snowflake from the 2003 Just Cross Stitch Ornament issue by Victoria Sampler. The Hope Needle Roll from the 2006 Just Cross Stitch issue by Jeanette Douglas. I've done all of the other needle rolls. I have, I think, 3 of them hanging on my tree. I have one more to finish. I have the Love one to finish. Then next up, this year for 2005, Mill Hill, their Santa trilogy was the First Responder Santas, and there's a Fireman Santa, a Police Santa, and an EMT Santa. So those of you who have followed me and seen my introduction know that I was an EMT for many years. And EMTs so often EMTs and paramedics get left out, so it was nice to see them do this. Too bad they didn't do a dispatcher Santa as well. But so I'm going to stitch this one. Then there's the Christmas tree. This one I don't have a picture of because it's in a bad part of the magazine, but it's by Elizabeth's Designs in the Just Cross Stitch 2005 issue. It's a Christmas tree, and I have the pre-cut for it. If I can get a decent picture, I will. But when I looked this morning, it was kind of right on the binding, where the binding joins the pages, and it just wasn't working to get a picture. I will try one more time. And then my last ornament is Heaven and Nature by Kira Lynn's Needle Arts. And here's this. I got these at the Silver Needle. She has, the series is, she says it's from the Reason series. She has several. They're based around Christmas carols. So I just picked one, and this is the one that I picked. So that's going to be my WIPGO board. Hopefully I'll have all 25 finished. That would be really cool for this year. I think the Shepherd's Bush ones will be fairly easy to knock out. And then the other ones have various amounts of stitching, but we'll see where we are. And then last year was the first year I did a blessing sampler. So the tradition of a blessing sampler is that it is a sampler that you start and complete in the month of January, and it should bring blessings to you and your stitching. Last year I did a Blackbird Designs one, and this year I'm going to do an artsy housewife. And I got this in last year's Black Needle Society Nice Box. So here it is. I love pink and brown, and that's just pretty. It's small. It's 111 by 111 stitches, and I got it fully kitted in the box. So this will be a little bit of a challenge piece for me as well. It's on 40 count 40 count raw or 40 count platinum linen, but I just love how the colors look on this. And I can stitch on 40 count, it's just not my favorite. I'd rather do 20 count Aida. But this is, I think this is a Witchilt Aida because it's pretty stiff. It's just a standard color. But look at, I mean the colors are blowing out a little bit, but look at that burgundy, pink, and brown. And the white is just going to pop on this. So I'm really excited to start that. I think it'll be fun. It's my first artsy housewife design. I'm looking forward to doing that. And we'll see if I can finish it in January. And then my last planned start for now, because I'm going to be shopping my stash, and I figure through 2026, my goal is, as Laura from Lala D Stitches says, I'm going to stitch like a pirate. I'm going to stitch whatever I feel like. I'm going to be stitching from my stash using what I have, so I feel like allowing myself to start anything that I want is, it'll help me get over, when I feel like I need something new, I can go to my stash, pull out something and start it. But Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher, her birthday is in December, and she's doing a book lovers sal, and I was planned on starting this last week, and I just didn't get it kitted up. But you can stitch on anything with book related. So I'm stitching, I'm going to start Dream Big, sorry about that, from The Tiny Modernist, and there it is. And I've got it kitted up, and I'm going to use this, let's see, I've got a little board here. Instead of doing it on a blue, I'm going to use this piece of Pansy, which is a lighter purple with some modeling from Picture This Plus. And here's the threads. I think they're going to look great on this. So I may start that tonight. I may wait until tomorrow. But I'm excited to get that started. So, and last but not least, when it comes to plans, I want to do a snow day stitch. And I've got a couple pieces that I really want to get some progress in on. One of them is my, and so how I'm going to do this, because you guys that have been around, you know that I don't count my stitches. So I'm going to do an hour for each inch of snow that we get when we get snow. And if there's no accumulation but it snows, I'll do an hour. So I'm already behind because while I was on vacation we got 9 inches of snow. My husband told me we had 9 inches of snow. And then we got 3 inches another day, and we got a dusting last night. So I'm already 9 and 3 is 12 and 1 is 13. I'm already 13 hours behind, right? Not a problem, I can easily pick that up. But I'm not sure which piece I want to work on. So my first choice is Father Winter Sampler by Teresa Wensler. I have this, got this as a kit, a Janlin kit way back in the day. And this, I've always loved this piece. I love the colors in this piece. You know, he's not a traditional green and white. And I'm going to be changing this up a bit. I'm not doing this very outer border, and I think I'm going to, I tentatively calculated out, I think I can get this. Hey everybody, it's Sunday, Paula here. It is Sunday, December 21st. And first of all, I should have said this at the beginning yesterday, but thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you find something that you like and that you'll come back and that you'll like and subscribe. And if you're one of my returning viewers, thanks for coming back and spending some time with me. So last night I was putting my video together, and I don't know if anybody else's cameras work this way, but my camera saves files in chunks, and I had a crazy wild hair and was looking at the number of video files on the SD card on my camera and chose to delete the last smallest one that looked like it had, you know, a weird weird beginning or ending point, the screenshot that it showed, and that was the last 10 minutes of my video. By the time I figured this out, it was kind of late last night. I wasn't going to drag everything out and record the last section again. So here we are, Sunday morning, and I may repeat myself, and I apologize for that, but I know I was talking about a snow day stitch, and I know I covered the fact that I was going to stitch an hour for each inch of snow, or if it snowed and didn't really accumulate, I was just going to stitch an hour, and I'm 13 hours behind, but I'm not sure which project I'm going to work on. So I did say that my first option was Father Winter by Teresa Wentzler, and here's that. Maybe that'll give you a little better look. And I did think I started to talk about the fact that I'm not stitching this outermost border here, and I'm going to change this here so it's not the alphabet. It is the, I think I can get it to say Merry Christmas, maybe with the year that I finish it in there. I did buy, I think I also mentioned that you are able to get a PDF of this chart on everything cross stitch, so I'm hoping to get it into Markup RXP. I haven't started that process yet. I think it'll really help, especially since I do want to get quite a bit of as much progress on this as I can, in case I'm lucky enough to be able to attend the Queen City retreat in October, because that is a Teresa Wentzler themed retreat. But it's going to take me some time to mark off my progress in markup. So I could kind of use that towards my time for snow day stitching, I guess. Let me show you where I'm at on this one. So here's where I'm at. Working in the center, got part of Father Christmas done, got some of these trees done. There's a whole lot of white right here. I think that might be his beard. I'm using the kit materials, which is a really nice even weave. I think it's actually Linda fabric. It just said even weave on the kit description, but it has a nice little bit of unevenness, kind of like linen, and I think that's the hallmark of the fabric that they do call Linda. So here again, here's where I'm at with this. And it would be great to make more progress on this. And I have stitched him in the middle of summer. This is a piece that I really don't care whether it's Christmas time or winter time or not. So that's one option for my snow day stitch. And the other one is Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow. And I know you've seen it. You can see it here. I'm working in this second block. I'll show you in a second. And I did sort of bring this into Markup RXP. I didn't spend a whole lot of time with it, but it's good and functional for a working copy. And I think you can see the snow there is all full coverage. This is one of the fuller coverage blocks, and that house is absolutely huge. So this is another one I'd really like to get some progress in on. I started working on it when Pam from Stitching in the Land of Good Enough and the owner of Stitch New England, she was doing a Hawk Run Hollow Zoom, and I was able to join for a while. Then scheduling kind of changed, and I wasn't able to join, and I kind of stopped working on it, unfortunately. But let me show you where I'm at with this. Let me get my board up. So here's where I'm at with this. Now the benefit of doing this one and knowing that I have 13 hours of stitching time to just catch up, and it's only the middle of, well, late December, is that I could just jump right in and start stitching on this one, not spend any time working with Markup RXP. So I'm still debating. I'm going to ask you guys to jump in and let me know which one do you think I should work on. Should I split it? I might split it up, but I'd really rather pick one and have it be my snow day project. So let me know in the comments below. I'm curious to see what you guys think, and we'll find out together which one I end up working on and which one I pick. Other than that, that was pretty much the last thing I really had to talk with you guys about. I was just wanting to wish everyone a healthy, peaceful, safe holiday season. If you're one of those people that this is a difficult time for, you know, there's lots of us out there thinking of you as well. We're at an age where unfortunately it's easy to recognize that holidays aren't easy for everyone. So I wish you the best time of the season. I will be back maybe next weekend if I can work in the time to do my whip parade. Otherwise probably be right around the first of the year. I'm going to try to do a little better with my own personal record keeping next year for my own personal information, but also to be able to kind of update you guys with progress, and we can see where things are. So more on that to come as well. And like I said, it's going to be a no-buy year. I'm actually looking forward to it at this point. So I'm rambling, which means it's definitely time to shut this thing down, get it edited and recorded and uploaded. Again, I apologize for any repeat information. Probably just going to slap this on to the end of the rest of the video that I edited and call it good. So, wishing everyone the best, and if I don't see you before the new year, Happy New Year, and talk to you soon. Love ya. Bye.